Welcome to the FantasyFootballFirst.com podcast.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Where we'll hang out and discuss all things fantasy football.
Go rock this thing, huh? Love you, man. Go get it.
We'll give our best fantasy advice, predictions, insights, and more.
Play our game. All right? Play hard, but stay poised. Get it done.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. The show starts with Devin, Rick, and Quinn right now.
What is up, First fans? How's it going this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever it is for you guys watching the videos? We've got some NFL trade deadline
rumor, gossip, talk, pickups that you should get.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. Devin's worked some extra overtime on this subject, and so we thought we would bring this information to you. He's going to go over some players that he thinks have the possibility of being traded, and then if that happens, what happens with that player and or the other players on the team. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, follow along. We'll have that coming out for you, and we will start off with
Julio Jones.
Julio
Jones is looking at being traded right now. I don't know how serious this is. I understand it. I mean, the guy's old. The Atlanta Falcons got rid of their head coach. They're probably not making the playoffs right now. And they're probably looking at rebuilding. They could easily make up Julio Jones with, let's say, Jamar Chase in the draft. And he's would be a lot cheaper, getting rid of that huge contract. So I can see it.
and they just signed him to that huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, so it makes sense. I mean, they're kind of rewarding him for all that stuff he's done before. Not that he's a bad player now,
No,
but
he's
at some point with all of these wide receivers, they just drop off, and it's usually somewhere around that 31, 32, 33-year age.
Yeah.
Some of the best ones go longer. He is a best one, so he could go 2, 3, 4 more years. But at what level? I mean, those really good ones tend to go down to where they're good, which is fine, but that's not what you want to win championships. So
Yeah.
with that being said,
Well, if Julio Jones is traded, Russell Gage is that guy to get. Russell Gage's value just skyrockets if Julio Jones is traded.
that's true.
So definitely watch out for that.
And these are some players that you can pick up kind of if you've got some spots or, some players that aren't doing so great. You can remove those players with some of these players that you think might be up and coming, like a Russell Gage, who's probably on your waiver wire right now. We saw that he has the talent. He's had several games where he's been real good.
Yeah.
And so if he is the number 2 on that team as opposed to the number 3, that just increases his value. Pick up Russell Gage, stash him. If nothing happens, you can always get rid of him next week and then pick up somebody else with him.
All right, so we're on to our second player.
Number 2.
All right, Golden Tate. Giants are looking at
Tate.
trading Golden Tate.
Yes.
I don't really know where he would go. Not a lot of teams need a slot receiver like Golden Tate. But if he does go to a good team, like
What if he went back
Who
to
I did that part.
Seattle?
because they have Tyler Lockett as the main slot receiver.
Yeah, but they could move him out wide.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I mean, he played out wide before. Maybe they put Tate in there. Tate was from Seattle.
Yeah.
Maybe a little reunion. They were looking at Antonio Brown.
yeah.
So that means they were looking. I don't know if that would happen or not, but just,
Green Bay is definitely looking at a wide receiver,
Green Bay, yeah.
which also brings me to my next one that I'll be getting to in a little bit.
Okay.
But Davonte Adams is that deep threat, so they're
Yes.
in need of a slot receiver. Golden Tate is definitely a great slot receiver. If he goes to Green Bay, you can expect a lot of value out of him.
Yeah. And that's where Randall Cobb was at before for a while, too.
Yeah.
And you saw some pretty good value for many years from Randall Cobb. And if Tate goes there, I could see some good action.
Yeah. Which brings me to my next one.
Okay.
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller.
The Houston Texans are looking at trading either Will Fuller, Kiki Acuity, or Randall Cobb. Either one of those three they're looking at trading, and the Green Bay Packers are heavily invested into trading for Will Fuller. So they could definitely get him. And if Will Fuller's traded, I don't really see a whole lot of value changes in Will Fuller because Deshaun Watson's a really powerful quarterback. Same with Aaron Rodgers.
It might hurt Will Fuller actually a little bit because he's getting a lot of targets right now where he'll be second in Green Bay. So that might hurt the Will Fuller value, but back in
Tiny bit.
Houston, the value for Randall
Randall Cobb is that number 3 receiver. If Will Fuller leaves, or number 1 or 2, Will Fuller leaves, Randall Cobb is definitely going to step up and get more targets.
And he's had some pretty decent games too. If he's getting more targets, you're going to see those be more consistent.
Yeah.
So he definitely could be a solid pickup for you. I mean, right now, he's probably not owned, or if he is, he's on someone's bench. But if he's not owned, you want to pick him up, stash him away, see what happens. That's what we're talking about, trying to pre-plan.
Yeah.
Only if you got the space. I mean, don't dump some good player, and pick him up. But if you've got a player that's underperforming, you could, swap those guys out. And then once again, if none of this happens, then you can always drop him again and pick up someone else. Mm-hmm. All right.
I like it.
Number 4.
This is my last wide receiver, Al-Shawn Jeffrey.
Al-Shawn
the
Jeffrey.
Eagles were trying to trade Deshaun Jackson, Zach Ertz, and Al-Shawn Jeffrey. Well, one of those three. It is illegal for them to trade Zach Ertz and Deshaun Jackson because they're on IR.
Yeah.
You can't trade somebody who's on IR. It was bad timing for the Eagles. That leaves Al-Shawn Jeffrey left with that huge contract. They're trying to get rid of him. I mean, I would bet that they would take a very low round pick just to get rid of him, just because of that huge contract. And if Al-Shawn Jeffrey goes somewhere,
he could be good.
Yeah.
He could be good. It depends on where these guys go.
He could replace Beckham, go to Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
That could definitely happen.
Sure.
Because they have a lot of cap space, so they could do it.
That could definitely happen, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of Cleveland, bringing to my next one, Cleveland Browns are looking at trading David Njoku, which would increase Harrison Bryant's value. Mm-hmm. So go and pick up Harrison Bryant, expecting David Njoku to get traded. Because if that happens, Harrison Bryant is going to get targeted a lot.
Yes. And that also, if David Njoku gets traded, that could be good for him too. That could be another player that you might pick up just to see what happens. He was a very high draft pick. He's got tons and tons of talent. Mm-hmm. So, if another team is trading for him, they're realizing that. They're going to bring him in, and it may take a few games, obviously, for him to learn the playbook and get involved. But, if he starts popping off towards the last 5 or 6 games of the season, then you could reap those rewards. If you're needing a tight end, this year's been really crappy at tight end most of the time, and we've got injuries, and Kittle's now out. So, we're all trying to look for that next safety in tight end.
Just about to say that. If Njoku goes to San Francisco, that would be a great replacement.
Yes, it sure would.
Yeah, great target.
Man, if he goes in there, he would instantly be a top 10 tight end, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, that would definitely be something you might want to pick up as well. So Harrison Bryant and David Njoku.
Yep.
Pick your favorite. See what you want to do with that.
All right, I got 2 more.
Okay.
Dwayne Haskins is looking at being traded right now.
Dwayne Haskins.
I don't really know what team would need a quarterback like that. Maybe the San Francisco 49ers, because I don't really know if they're 100% committed to Garoppolo. They could try out Haskins.
Yeah, Haskins looks pretty bad.
Yeah, or Bill Belichick could try him out.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, obviously they're looking to trade him. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. And it depends on what team he goes to. But he could have an opportunity. He hasn't looked very good in Washington. But a fresh start, the right situation, the right game plan, that can change a quarterback. And even if it's not for this year, maybe the dynasty players, if you're looking at that, it could be for next year.
Yeah.
Just something to think about. All right.
And my last one. Kerryon Johnson.
Carry on.
The Lions are looking at trading him, which is understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, that backfield is so
they're loaded.
Cluttered. Yeah. They have Adrian Peterson, which they really like. DeAndre Swift, which they want to be their future. Mm-hmm. Moving on from Kerryon Johnson is very understandable, and he's a very talented running back.
Yeah.
So if he goes somewhere really good, that could be golden.
Yeah, the biggest thing with Kerryon is his injury history. I mean, when he's been on the field, he's shown some talent. He can catch too, which is definitely a good bonus. So if he goes to the right team, that could be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's being owned in 26% of leagues. So he's out there in the vast majority of them. So
pretty minimum.
Pick him up.
That's also for you dynasty players. I mean, right now it looks like pretty meager. If you make some trades, or maybe have him be a throw-in when you're trying to make a trade, and see what happens. You can you can always get rid of them, and it's not costing you much right now.
Absolutely.
All right, those were Devin's special players on this crazy NFL trade deadline.
Yeah.
Or will it be crazy? I'm thinking that we're going to get a few trades this year. It's just been so weird.
I think
but
some good trades.
You never know. In the past, we've thought that, and there hasn't been much going on. But it sure feels different this year. So
One little honorable mention. I know there's been a lot of talks about Michael Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
But he's owned in practically every league right now.
Yes.
So, and I mean, if Michael Thomas leaves, I mean, there won't be any really change to the Saints
I was going to say, you've
offense.
already seen what it's going to look like without Michael Thomas. So
I mean, I would
Not
say him,
much.
but you don't know where he's going to go. So, I mean, just watch out for the players around him, whatever.
yes,
team
he
goes
could be
to.
an effector of players on the other team, which would potentially stink for some of us.
So just
fantasy
keep your eyes
football
out for
players.
that. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. If you liked the video, please click on the like. We do these videos each week, and just to get that little like is all we're looking for. It makes us feel so good and tingly inside. Tingle? See? You saw that little tinkle right there. Maybe that's more of a twinkle than a tingle. But anyway, so do that. If you want to hear more videos like this was kind of a special video that we put out. We always put out on Mondays the waiver wire, and then on Fridays the start 'em sit 'em. But in between we have videos. We'll have another video. This one's going to probably come out on Tuesday. We'll have another video tomorrow on Wednesday. And with all of that, click on the subscription. That'll get you to all of our videos. And if you want to be notified as soon as those videos come out, so you're the first to know, click on the notifications, and that will send the video straight to you so you can watch it as soon as we put it out. And you'll be the first to be able to make some of these pickups, waiver wire transactions, know your lineups and start sits, and so on and so forth. So with all of that being said, remember the whole reason we do all of this, because if you don't finish first, you don't finish. You're first or you're last, even if you got second. No one remembers second place. So we work hard, you work hard, because we want to finish first.
Thank you for listening to the FantasyFootballFirst.com podcast.
Jackson throws the complete. Crabtree has it for a touchdown.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Get more fantasy info and check us out at FantasyFootballFirst.com.